Hello YouTube and welcome to GrunfWorks Plays KSP. This is episode 23 of our Interplanetary Voyage, and in previous episode we have successfully landed Zaedin and John on the surface of Duna, which today brings us with a little bit long and for some of you maybe a boring mission of roving on Duna. Well, you saw how the last one went, so there are some perils. Although this time we have much less distance to travel, only 47.9 kilometers, roughly 48, and I will be showing this in a time-accelerated fashion. But first, let's go over a few channel updates while we start to rove. First things first, you have probably noticed by the time of airing this video, I have killed off our XCOM 2 playthrough for the Long War. I'm sorry if somebody is upset, but I only have a very limited time to play all of the games, so I really have to prioritize. And I'm a very big fan of Long War 1 that came with the XCOM Enemy Within, so the Long War 2 for me is a natural continuation, and I'm pretty sure most of you have already seen XCOM 2 playthrough, and given that this mod is new and fresh, I thought, since it's a complete overhaul, it brings completely new layers of strategy, difficulty and all that. And my current mod list that I had until the previous week sadly isn't compatible, so I had to completely uninstall the game and reinstall it with the new mods. Don't worry, your characters are still in my character pool. I have reinstalled the, Caps and Bobs pack and all these mods that are non-conflicting with the Long War, and you will be seeing your characters in the Long War playthrough. However, given what I've done, I don't think I would be able to continue the XCOM 2 series. On the Transport Fever, if you have seen the Monday video, I'm also considering on switching to a new save. I am playing with the USA campaign on a random generated map using seeded GrunfWorks USA as seed, but I have been experimenting and playing a little bit on the European side with a custom map called River Delta. I found this map to be so beautiful and so scenic that actually I'm seriously considering not maybe abandoning the USA campaign currently, but putting it on ice and maybe starting this River Delta gameplay and see where it takes us. Let me know in the comments what do you think about it, but please be quick, because by the time of airing this video I will already have, I'm hoping, at least some votes on the video from the Transport Fever, where I have posed the question, what would you prefer? Would you prefer for me to continue with the with the USA playthrough, or would you prefer for me to switch to a temporary one? I mean, those two are non-conflictive, so at any point, even if I choose to go with the River Delta, I can resume the USA gameplay if the need or want arises. Okay, so that being said, let's also talk a little bit about what is coming for the Interplanetary Voyage. I mean, that series is pretty much continuing. I am a big KSP fan, and I fully plan to continue playing it. I will most likely not be upgrading it to the 1.2 because I have so many mods that just doing that alone would be a freaking nightmare. Sorry guys. However, this build which I'm playing with is currently very stable and crashes very seldom, so I'm actually preferring to take this game, play it with this as is, and just continue. Regarding the plans, or my plans, we have been more focused around Duna and those bases, and that's with the good reason. I'm trying to establish a site for our future surface base, and surface base, guys, it's one thing that it's very hard to plan, at least it is for me, because I plan to use USI components, and I have never before played with USI except for Duna Orbital, which is semi-autonomous. It's not fully autonomous, but it's getting there. Also, a few things that I need to take into account is we have Chuck, Ikrit, and Wilhuff Talkin, who are currently stranded on Duna, on the other side of Zaedin and John and our Karbonite Miner. And they are stranded due to the fact that Chuck's rover flipped, and then Wilhuff Talkin had to come and rescue him by making a suborbital hop. And clearly I have a little bit under-engineered these landers, because although they seem to have enough delta V to get to orbit, I have neglected, for some reason I think I'm having issues with my Kerbal engineer. It is lying to me in the VAB a little bit, I don't know why. Post in the comments if you do know why. It is telling me I have higher thrust to weight than I actually have. So my thrust to weight for that lander is roughly 1.3 when I was planning around 1.8. And if you know, I mean, with that lesser amount thrust to weight, you need a little bit more delta V to make it to orbit, because you are accelerating slower and all that jazz. So that's why I'm kind of thinking, and I have been designing already rescue lander, and that one will be very much advanced. It will be using carborundum for propulsion and also a warp drive to get to Duna, because we don't have infinite amount of supplies, so we will actually need to get to Duna very fast once it's built in 80 to 100 days, and then we will need to use carborundum fuel to be able to land, and because it has a very high delta V. I'm hoping that it will have enough thrust to weight. Otherwise, we will have another unplanned colony on Duna. Also, we have incoming space dock that is coming to Duna, and I believe it's also the SSTO Horus that is coming also to Duna with 2 extra engineers, because we need... Sorry, not 2 extra engineers, but 1 pilot and 1 engineer. We need 2 extra Kerbals to recreate the command center in the Duna Orbital 1 lab, because we need, I think, a total of 6 Kerbals and a remote probe given the remote tech's requirements. So to be able to dock the space dock, I will need a sufficient amount of Kerbals. Okay, it seems that we are roughly almost halfway. Maybe not entirely halfway, but we're getting there. Screenshot. Okay, you know what I said my game is running stable? Well, I just had a minor crash, and this is a post-commentary, but I mean, if I compare it to the Interplanetary Voyage Series 1, my average crash time before playing would be 15 minutes. So every 15 minutes my game would crash in the Series 1, which was the 090. In this case, my average time is like on, I don't know, on 3 to 4 recorded episodes, I get maybe 1 crash, which I think is great when you compare it to the previous case. Okay, so yes, so we will need additional amount of Kerbals to be able to dock the space dock. Then I have been designing also a smaller probe ship, because I wanted to test 2 technologies that we have for Eve, one of them being the inline balloons. That one, think of those as huge, like parachutes that look something like, I don't know, like those swim thingies that babies use for swimming when you put them around their waist, and yeah, that looks like a hollow, like donuts. So yeah, these balloons look like that, and the purpose of them, rather than using heat shields are useful when you're coming in hot, coming in fast, and they are using ablation to basically slow down your craft. The balloons are aimed to be used much higher up in the atmosphere where the air is thinner, but they're so massive that they act like big parachutes, so they will slow you down much faster in the higher layers of the atmosphere, so that you will be basically falling down like a rock afterwards. So, and I think they have a valid use, especially if we have components that are not able to withstand that amount of atmospheric friction when you are coming in. So I will be testing those two technologies at Eve, and I have already built a probe to do so. Another very important thing that will be happening is our carborundum collector that has been collecting carborundum in the orbit around Sun is coming back to Kerbal, and the goal of him is to dock. 24 kilometers to go. The reason why I'm posting all these updates is that there is only a finite amount of time where you can actually sell driving Rover on the surface of a red planet as entertainment. So that's why I figured it would be a good episode to give you all the updates and plans and what I'm thinking and so on. Okay, that being said, where was I? Oh yes, carborundum. So our carborundum collector will be coming back. It will be docking to the carbon refueling station, and once it actually docks with the carbon refueling station, it will resupply, the station with carborundum. So we will have carborundum in the orbit. The next step, what we need to do is we need to build a carborundum retriever that will retrieve a small but finite amount of carborundum from the orbit back to the surface of Kerbal and hopefully execute a precision landing near a KSC, where I will build another tanker rover that will be using carborundum tanks to be able to using Kerbal attachment system and just pipes to drain the pipes of carborundum from the retriever and refuel our future SSTOs. I've said already that our engineers were able to produce small amounts of carborundum, but now that we have a means of obtaining it, there is no shortcuts. We really need to get carborundum to the surface of Kerbal to be able to use it for our SSTOs. And the next tech that I am planning to use is sort of carborundum based SSTO because of its good thrust to weight, enormous delta V. So if you could look at the Horus, which is using xenon tanks, it is great. It has a good delta V, but its thrust is abysmally low given the fact that it's using Vasimir engines. And it's a trade-off that Vasimir engines use, and that's why the trade-off by carborundum is that it's notoriously hard to get. So that's why we have executed a mission to get around surface of Sun, retrieve it. Let's just pop a quick save because you never know what things could happen. And we have 17 kilometers, 17.9 actually. So guys, these are roughly my plans, and then we will see how far we will get. So I know that currently we were focused on Duna, but I still have plans to go to Eve, to go to Joule, more notably Lathe, then also to go to outer planets, and by the way, this in-cabin view reminds me of a Death Star trench run. I'll give you a little bit time to think about why is that. Okay, so I plan to go also to outer planets like Sarnus, Urlum, and most notably Tecto. Ever since I saw the Outer Planets mod, I really have a desire to go to Tecto with an SSTO and fly it. If you have not seen, there is an awesome video by Hazardish who said, stock SSTO to Tecto. How this guy pulled it off, I don't know until to this very day, but I'm more than willing to actually, challenge him on it. Well, not technically challenge him, but rather go there and see if I can pull off an SSTO to Tecto. For me, it's a lot more difficult because Tecto is so far that the remote tech just won't work. I am using KOS, but I'm terrible at it. I have tried it only once or twice and just leave it lie. Maybe I will actually use it, I don't know. But I am thinking of using a manned mission. I'm thinking of an SSTO, I'm thinking of carborundrum drives, and I'm thinking of some sort of warp-capable, I don't know, attachment or something. I'm not yet 100% sure. I'm trying to think, if you think about it like, I think Star Wars had these Jedi starfighters where you could actually have a hyperspace ring and then just dock with a fighter to the hyperspace ring and then warp wherever the hell you wanted to. Speaking of Star Wars, if you noted, the top right screen is actually, I believe, a ripoff from the initial Star Wars episode 4, A New Hope, from the Death Star trench run, so I think that's why it reminds me so much of it. It's a beautiful view. I really like the IVA provided by Rover Dude. By the way, this rover is Malemute, which is a courtesy of Rover Dude's Umbra Space Industries. Okay, 11.2 kilometers to go, so not so far now, and I'm hoping once we actually do that, then we will need to take John, who was left at the rear, well, at the landing site, because if something happened to Zaedin, he will need to land and pick him up. So we are still hopeful that nothing will happen. We have crossed the majority of the way. So 10 kilometers, I'm popping up a save, and as you know, guys, save for me means for Kraken's Bane. If I screw up, which I tend to do from time to time, just look at what I did to Chuck. In that case, I will be planning yet another unplanned colony, or let's call it a rescue mission. So yeah, that's the whole reasoning behind it. Okay, going up and hitting the brake. I don't want to be catching airtime anytime soon. By the way, I'm sorry for this metallic clonk that you hear sometimes. It's me turning off the mic, because at the time of recording I tend to record these episodes like 3, 4 and maybe even 5 in a quick succession, so my throat gets a little bit sore, so I can start coughing or I need to drink some water. So rather than you hearing me gulping, which I've gotten some comments, people really didn't appreciate it, and I understand that, so I have decided to actually just turn off the mic for the time being and let it fly. Okay, we are coming up 7 kilometers. There are a few more things that I'm involved with, a couple of more projects that I am not yet allowed to discuss, but you will hear more about them as we come. I am still very excited about them. So, anyway, I'll let you know when I'm actually know more and when I have something concrete to show you rather than just guesswork. Okay, so 6.4 kilometers, we are zeroing in on the Karbonite Miner and base. So I am really excited to get finally there and finally have a nice Duna get together. Actually, I could make it the title of this episode. Well, I think so, yes. Okay. One more big hill to go over, and then I'm thinking it will be fine. So we are going up and away, and a little bit slower. I don't want to botch it on the last go. And ooh, there is a stone, but I'm not heading for it. Okay, just slight course correction, because at these angles and at the speed, you would think that I'm not going very fast, but if you think 20 meters per second is actually 72 kilometers per hour on the surface of an unknown planet with unknown, slopes and lower gravity than Kerbal. So if you think about it, it's actually kind of dangerous to drive faster. I've succeeded going up to 30 meters per second, but at that speeds, things start to go really bad. So, in this case, it's the slower speed that wins the race, because the aim of the race is to actually get there. Okay, we are 2 kilometers out. I'm sure pretty soon we will be starting to get, physics, and I am a little bit worried about that. 2.4, 2.3, 2 point, and there we go. Check, check, and I think we're loaded now. Good, so I think actually we still have to crest this hill, I guess. So after we crest this hill, we should be able to see our Karbonite Miner. And, ooh, careful, Zaedin, don't get over enthusiastic on me just yet. Yeah, I know you like airtime and I know you're happy, but still, please, keep your excitement in check for just 1 kilometer more. Okay, I am scanning just for a little bit also, ore, and I think I was hoping to scan for carbonite, I guess, but I'm just trying to figure out the slopes, which part has the lowest slope. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived. There is our Karbonite Miner, and this is a beautiful, beautiful sight. Oh boy, if only the first mission did go this well. Well, we are not done yet. I'm deleting the navigation point. Or deactivating navigation, not deleting a navigation point. Making a couple of screenshots, for posterity. Let us just turn this guy around because I want to really make a nice close-up screenshot for this episode. A little bit further out. I want to get even my older rover in the picture. Somewhere along these lines. Oh yes! That's some screenshot material right there. Okay. I believe that concludes Zaedin's trip. Now it's time to go back to Chuck. Sorry, not Chuck, but to actually to John. And John, if you remember, had a little bit misfortune with the landing due to my complete landing incompetence. His craft flipped, although it shouldn't have flipped at all. But now I have repacked his chute and I decided not to use the landing legs because, guys, landing legs in this case I'm a little bit worried about. So, now it's time for him to make a suborbital hop all the way up to Zaedin back, I guess. So, retracting everything, kicking the gas, and as you can see we have roughly 1.4, and I was shooting for around 1.8 or more, and at 1.5 thousand it's borderlining enough to get to orbit, so I should have put maybe a little bit more thrusters and a little bit more fuel, but then again, what can you do? So, I am ultimately hoping that there will be some sort of vehicle that will be easily to actually land and take off rather than these guys. And especially since we introduced the heat mechanic, also now aero braking is no longer such a viable option without a big heat shield or a balut. That's why I actually wanted to test the inline baluts as well. I also think that given the fact that we are burning a little bit up, we will not be able to take off again, because I think given the size of this hop, I will also need to use my engines to brake at the target site. I want it to overshoot a little bit, and then as we are coming down, I will first engage the thrusters, and then when it's safe, deploy the chutes. Okay, just making sure that I orient the craft surface retrograde. I don't want to be veering too much off, but if I press the chutes too early, Given that this is semi-powered landing, I just want to make sure I don't miss it again by much, because if I miss it by much, then what is the whole point of it? Okay. Okay, checking. I am thinking popping up the chutes now, and I should, oops, and I should kick also deceleration. I think I've hit it a little bit too late, but okay, I think they will stop me enough. I will also burn a little bit to the side in the attempt to go at least a little bit closer to the site. This time I'm popping down the landing legs. It seems that we are coming close to the target, although we are a little bit away. I'm thinking the more changes I do now... Oops, wrong side. So this side. I'm trying to align yellow and pink markers as I did before. But I also need to conserve enough amount of delta V, and these chutes are actually slowing me down a lot. So, as much as they're helping me to make a safe landing, they are hindering me from landing exactly where I would want to. So, yes. I will definitely be pushing a little bit further than I would want to. And I just need to make sure that I have enough delta V for the braking, because this one won't be going up either. Let's just accelerate it a little bit. I think we will be coming quite close, but not really as close as we were hoping. Okay, we have come within the physics range. Let us just burn a little bit further towards it. I think we will end up a couple of 100 meters apart, or at least that's my hopes, so we'll see. And I don't want to start going too fast up, because that will kill our chutes, and then we would have to execute a powered landing. Yet another thing that I'm notoriously bad at, so yes. I'm trying to judge from this side, I cannot see squat. Okay, come on. A little bit more that way, a little bit more that way. Well, at least we're close enough. I mean, anything that's under a kilometer, I believe, is already great. So yeah. 600 meters. Okay, and we are coming in for the landing. There's our shadow. And time to be decelerating for the landing itself. Okay, 10, 9, 4. This time I'm not gonna be moving too much left to right. I'm just trying to keep it leveled as I can. 2 meters per second, and kill the engines. Whew! Much smoother than it was before. And given the fact that I landed on a pretty slopey thingy, it's good enough. 500 meters away from the site. You know, guys, I think I'm just gonna declare this a victory and let it lie here, because really, I don't think I can do much better at the time being. Let's extend the ladder. Please repack the chute. I don't know if you will be needing it, because we will be dropping, you know, and some error, well, whatever. Zaedin, are you gonna go and visit your buddy, huh? Yeah, go and say hi. I mean, it was a pretty stressful landing, so, and given that the other site is fully automated, you know, I'm pretty sure that the Karbonite Miner won't mind. Now, all we would actually need to successfully refuel this craft is actually some pipes. But the problem is that I don't believe even with a full tank it has enough delta V to get off the surface of Duna and successfully go over there. So we will just drive there and we will be dropping another set of modules. Okay, here we are. So you see it wasn't that much long of a drive. Awesome. And yeah, so guys, I am thinking we want to be wrapping up this episode. It is already 30-minute-ish mark. So please do like if you like episode, press like if you like it, hit subscribe for more KSP content that will be coming soon, as always. And I guess until the next episode, I will bid you all farewell. Thank you once again for watching, and please do vote or let me know in the comments below what you think about the other series, XCOM 2 and Transport Fever. So until the next episode, thank you very much guys for watching. This is GrunfWorks, signing off.